My daughter, Teen, is having a birthday in a few days. Money's a bit tight, so I told her we can't afford a birthday party this year. Instead, we can buy a cake, a gift, and go out to dinner. She threw a tantrum over not getting a birthday party, but finally got over it. She told me she wanted a peanut butter chocolate cake and a tablet and wanted to go to an Indian restaurant. I told her she was being unreasonable. She knew her brother was allergic to peanut butter. I even offered to buy her a cupcake, but she insisted on having a cake. So I said, fine, you're getting a chocolate cake then. We had another argument over the gifts because I couldn't really afford a tablet. So I asked her to choose something else. Still, she wouldn't choose. So I bought a new phone case for her, and then we had another argument. She knows neither I nor her siblings eat Indian food, so I told her we'll go to her favorite fast food instead. She threw another tantrum, called me an idiot and said, fine, have fun, then I'm not coming. She then called her dad and left with him. I've been trying to talk to her, but she only says that she's not coming with us and won't talk to me. Am I the idiot for not being able to afford to give my daughter the birthday she wants? So you said she couldn't have a party, but she could have a cake, but not the one she wants. So she can have a gift, but not the one she wants. So she can have a meal out, but not the one she wants. Is money just as tight when it's her brother's birthday? You are the idiot. Compromise is one thing. Shooting down every alternative she gave is just something else. No wonder she's going with her dad. Maybe he'll at least give her something she likes. I think OP nulled the allergic argument by saying the daughter could have a peanut butter cupcake while they all had chocolate cake. If the allergy was that severe, a cupcake wouldn't be an option either, surely. What extra blows my mind about the cake is OP offers to get her the birthday girl a cupcake. If the brother's allergic, he hates peanuts, why isn't he getting the different flavor cupcake? Yeah, that's a good point. The poor girl, she doesn't get the gift, the restaurant, or the cake of her choice. It's her birthday. Let her get one thing she wants. The cake would be the least expensive, and you can't even do that for her. Let me guess, her brother's perfect. I believe this is just one part of a bigger issue. The girl's request for her own birthday dinner and cake to be things she likes are reasonable, but OP can't even be bothered to do that. Not because of time or money constraints, but because her siblings don't like those things. If she can't even get her preferred food and cake for her birthday, I'm willing to bet that she loses out on a lot of things because it's inconvenient or not accommodating for her siblings. What do you want to bet that the siblings are step or half sibs? I was wondering about that exact thing. When I reached the end of the story, where she called her father and left with him, I went back and reread everything. It brings up a lot of questions about family dynamics that were conveniently left out. OP, you didn't give her one single thing she asked for. Instead, you made it all about her siblings. Her tantrum is because this kind of thing happens a lot. You even talk about how your other kids never pulled this. I wonder if your younger children have a different dad. It almost seems like you intentionally treat this child differently. My birthdays were always like this, catered to everyone else except me. I just stopped celebrating and don't really go out of my way to see my parents anymore. I, 27 male, used to think that this was something that people would only say online, but I've seen and heard it firsthand, bleeding into real life, which is why I'm asking here. Maybe I'm just weird because I'm surprised I even have to ask this. It's not uncommon online to see people say that they would choose to save their dog over the life of a living person because their dog is their dog, while the person is just a stranger. That entire mentality seems warped and incredibly vile. I don't hate dogs and I like playing with them, but I don't understand how one can compare one to a person. That was once online, but it seems to be bleeding into real life at times. Yesterday, a family friend was telling my family and my brother's girlfriend, Mary, 25, how her son is having major medical issues, which could ultimately take his life, and how she and her husband were not dealing with it well at all. My brother's girlfriend said, I understand what you're going through. When Kennedy, her dog, needed surgery, she didn't know how to deal with it and was a mess. Everyone kind of got quiet because she was comparing a dog's life to a child, and she said it like it was totally normal. The mom was visibly taken back and hurt, and Mary didn't understand why. Mary added that Kennedy's like a child to her, and before she could go on, I just blurted something out like, "Not the same at all. Please stop talking." Mary did stop talking, but it made everything uncomfortable, so everyone called it an evening. My dad asked Mary to leave and told my brother he needed to ensure that he and Mary somehow made this right, because that was heartless. My mom said she wasn't sure how to end the conversation after that, but my method wasn't it. My brother hasn't said much other than he gets it, but he's still upset with me. Mary is demanding an apology and for me to mend the relationship with my dad. The few people who know about this are torn. Some people are saying Mary wasn't wrong, and I and others don't get to tell her how to feel about her dog, and I invalidated her feelings. Others are saying she should be ashamed. One friend said, "This is a problem only white developed nation people could encounter, and Mary's a bad person." I can't believe I have to ask this, but they got me. Am I the idiot for any of this? Not the idiot. Just be prepared for some people to crucify you. I've lost a child as well as dogs, and let me tell you, they're not comparable. Not in the slightest. Mary even having the gall and thoughtlessness to bring it up says more about her than you for saying something to her. I'm glad you spoke up. OP even said, "Please," which is probably more than Mary deserved. I'm a pretty dense dude, but even I'm not that thoughtless. Why would you be responsible for mending the relationship with your dad? He's the one who asked her to leave because of her comments. That didn't have anything to do with you. Grief or pain is not a contest. I think Mary lacked empathy. There is no way I would ever tell a parent of a young child in that situation that these two things are somehow comparable. It has much less to do with the dog equal human being and more to do with actual empathy, where you don't try to one-up that grieving parent or engage in some half-baked competitive victimization. That is some major idiocy. You shut it down. Someone needed to, since she was obviously clueless. So I'm a 28-year-old dude who's lived in my house for a few years now. One of the main reasons I chose this place was because my bedroom faced east, allowing me to wake up to the morning sunlight. Most mornings I wake up before my alarm goes off, just because the sunlight from the window wakes me up. There used to be a tree line that provided a natural barrier between my house and any potential neighbors, so I never saw the need for curtains or blinds. Along with that, they were expensive for the nice ones. Recently, my neighborhood expanded, and most of the tree line my bedroom faced was cut down to build new houses. So boom, a house was built right across from mine, and their window had a clear view into my bedroom. I've always been comfortable sleeping naked. It wasn't an issue when no neighbors were around. But not long after the people moved in, the father from the house came over to my house and pretty much told me to stop being nude in front of my windows since his family could see inside my bedroom. He wasn't nice about it. He wasn't mean either, just matter-of-factly like he gave me an order and fully expected it to be done like I was his kid or employee. I was somewhat surprised but understood his concern, so I made an effort to be more mindful of my outfit when in view of the window. I stopped cleaning and making my bed before getting dressed. Instead, I'd hop out of bed, walk into my closet, and at least put on shorts, then go about my morning chores. That being said, I still sleep naked and occasionally become visible to the neighbors for a brief moment after waking up. The father came over again, leading to an argument between us. I told him I was trying my best to be considerate, but there's only so much I can do and that it's my house, and I'm not changing my lifestyle because they moved in. He threatened to call the police and said I was being a menace to the neighborhood, whatever the heck that meant. So am I the idiot for continuing my lifestyle, even though my neighbors can see into my bedroom? Not the idiot. He can put up curtains to block his view of your house. He's asking and telling you to put up curtains so that he can keep his windows open while you block the morning sun that you wake up to. Just like my grandma, who complains I never phone. Like phones, curtains work both ways. If he bothers you again, ask why his family spends so much time looking in your bedroom. What a moron. I think it depends. If he's standing in front of his bedroom window right across from the dining room window, I don't think it's right to assume they're going out of their way to look at a window without any information. Really, for all we know, OP stands legs apart to look at the sunrise in front of a sliding glass door visible to everyone. I really think it depends on the neighborhood or the house setups. I agree with this. If they see a naked dude while sitting and eating breakfast and can't avoid it without closing their windows, that's an actual issue. They should be able to have their windows open without the whole family seeing OP's morning ritual. I know this isn't for legal advice either, but if OP was in the US, it might also be illegal for OP to do this. You are the idiot, OP. Curtains exist to let in sunlight and show only shadows. Whether they have curtains isn't the issue. They may be in their backyard or outside and can see you. You can sleep and walk around your house as you like, but why must you show off your lifestyle to the world? Stop flashing your neighbors. I'm sure you can solve this problem so you don't flash your neighbors. You act like there's no middle ground when there clearly is. Sheer curtains, window film, etc. I, 36 female, have a beautiful baby boy who was christened last Saturday. My twin and his wife, 41, flew in for the christening with my nieces, kindergartner and one a little older. They live in another state, and I paid for their flights because they live with a modest income and she's a stay-at-home mom. The day before the christening, when they arrived, my son was crying, and we tried his usual self-soothing techniques, but he wouldn't stop. My sister-in-law said that we should just give him his pacifier. I told her we don't use pacifiers, and he's never tried one. Over the next few days, it was a similar rodeo. Baby cries, and we would use self-soothing techniques, and sister-in-law would mention how pacifiers would soothe him. Well, after the christening, upon her suggestion once again to give my crying son a pacifier, I snapped, and in a room full of friends and family, I said I would never take parenting advice from a 41-year-old woman that still lives on her parents' property, cannot hold down a job, and is a stay-at-home mom. My retired parents have to send money every month to help them make ends meet, and whose youngest still uses a pacifier to soothe herself and proudly shows them off. A child whose mouth is so jagged and ruined that she and my brother will probably have to ask my husband and me for money for orthodontics care because they can't afford it. She's a prime example of what not to do in raising kids. Well, obviously, the room was silent, and she ran off crying, and she and my brother left. They only came back that evening, but she nor my brother said anything to me. They left the next day for the airport. My brother said I had to apologize, and that throwing their finances in their faces was unfair. While I apologized for that, I said I would not apologize for telling her the fact about my niece's situation. I told him that on multiple occasions, both I and my husband, he's a pediatrician, had warned them about the negative effects of a pacifier on a child. My brother told me to mind my own business, and I said I gladly would, as long as his wife minded hers. Now my parents are telling me to apologize again. Naturally, my friends are on my side. So, am I the idiot? Edit. My brother and sister-in-law asked my husband and me, pediatrician and surgeon, for medical advice regarding my niece still using pacifiers. We repeatedly warned them about the negative effects of pacifiers on kids her age. They just failed to implement medical advice. My brother is upset about their finances and wants her to get a job to help burden the load, his words. He's in grad school after a layoff to get a better opportunity for his family. He wishes she would help. She stopped working 6 months into her first pregnancy 7 years ago and never went back. You could have said, "Thank you for the suggestion, but we choose not to use pacifiers, and I expect you to respect our parenting choices, even if you make other choices." Instead, you dropped a nuclear bomb, destroying the woman's entire life. You are the idiot, and you should probably try a pacifier. Frankly, no apology is ever going to repair that kind of contemptuous string of insults. If you intended to sever that relationship, mission accomplished. Agree. OP, you used a nuclear bomb to kill a fly. And to add insult to injury, not only did she say all that out loud to her face, but also in a room full of people. I feel like this goes far deeper than just parenting advice. OP can apologize to sister-in-law all she wants, but everybody heard her. There's no coming back from that. Plus, she's a surgeon. Obviously, her choices are better than everyone else's, especially a stay-at-home mom. Eye roll. Makes sense. OP is used to doing her best work while people are unconscious. Probably unpopular opinion. Everyone's the idiot here. OP, you were the instigator. I think it's wrong to comment on how people parent their own children unless that child is being put in harm's way. That's where your sister-in-law was wrong. Also, if I had a sister-in-law who insisted on living above their means, but now for obvious reasons, she needs to get a job. I don't have a regular job, so I'm free most days. Well, she asked me to babysit for her kids during the days, and she said she'll pay me whatever I wanted. She said she found something that would pay her well, and she could keep their house and lifestyle and save the other money for her kids' future or emergencies. I told her that I didn't want to be a babysitter and to ask someone else. She told me that no one else can because her in-laws live in another state. Our brother and sister-in-law work too, and both our parents also have jobs. So basically, I'm the only one free during the day. I told her in that case, she should send them to daycare, but she said that the kids aren't that well since the accident. She would prefer if they could be babysat by family, at least for a couple of months, until they get used to the idea of losing their dad. Lastly, she told me if I could at least babysit for her in the morning, then our mom agreed to cut some hours so she could babysit during the afternoon. I told her that what they were going through was very sad, but I stood my ground about not babysitting. That's not what I want now. I told her that that was the final answer and to stop calling me over because I won't change my mind. She cried and called me an idiot. She went on and on about how hard her life is. She said that her kids always cry because of their dad, and they need family now, and how I should help her when I can. I told her that her kids are not my responsibility. She could ask, but I already said no, so she should drop it. Now everyone in the family is angry at me. Am I the idiot? You are the idiot. Your sister and her children have been through massive trauma lately. It's understandable that she wouldn't want to just send them off to daycare. After years of your niece and nephew having their mom home all the time, they've lost their dad, and their mom is going back to work. They're 6 and 4. They don't fully understand and won't for some time. She's offering to pay you, but it'll be short term and you aren't working. I can understand not wanting to help the family after such a traumatic event. Not the idiot. Who wants someone who has zero interest in babysitting their kids to care for them full time? It's a sad situation, but that doesn't make OP responsible. She's not looking for something occasional. She wants to hire you for a full-time babysitting position, likely at a strong discount, or she'd hire a professional nanny. If she asked for something occasional, I think it would be pretty heartless to decline, but what you've described is a long-term trap that will fundamentally change your lifestyle. Right? An OP could literally write, "My whole family just died in a fire, so I asked my only brother left to watch my kid for an hour while I identified the bodies." People would be like, "Your kid's your responsibility." I think it's pretty selfish. Help her out. It's only a few months before she feels ready to let them go to daycare. She's offering to pay you whatever you want. Moreover, if you don't help her out, what right would you have to ask her to help you if you ever find yourself in a predicament and need help from your family?